Hello friends, welcome back to DigiTalk and the session 7 of Docker. In this session, we will learn how we can create the custom image for Nginx web server. So in the previous session, we have learned almost the same thing where we have created our own extended image using the Apache web server base image. Okay, and then we have modified the index.html file, right? So same exercise we'll do here for the Nginx web server. Okay, and to give you some more hands-on, and then on top of that you will learn few more commands of the Docker when we will run this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to execute this exercise on my EC2 AWS Linux machine. Okay, so let me first check if my machine is running or not, otherwise I will bring it up. Okay, so I have 4 EC2 machines. Let me bring up the T2 large machine. Okay, so I'm going to post another video on EC2 how to create the EC2 machine. Okay, shortly in some time. Okay, and now you can see that it successfully started, but it will take some time to assign the public IP to my machine. In between, let me explain you what exactly we are going to perform in this session. Okay, so this is a screenshot of our previous sessions where we have discussed about the official and custom registries. Okay, we have done some exercise on the official registries, how we can pull the images, pre-built images from the Docker Hub and from the Oracle Container Registry. Okay, and now we are on the custom images, how we can build our custom images or how we can create the extended images from the base images using the Dockerfile. So in the previous session we have learned for the Apache web server, so now we are going to perform the same exercise for the Nginx web server. Okay, and then you will see few more commands on top of that one, right? So we will do first, we will log into our Docker account, right, from our host, and then with the help of search command we can see the different images that is available on your Docker Hub for that particular product that you are searching, right? And we will pull the Nginx image from the Docker Hub. Okay, after that we will create one index.html file. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll take this base image which we have pulled from the Docker Hub, we'll extend that image, right, with the help of our custom index.html file, right? For that we will write in Dockerfile, and in that file we will write from and the name of our base image, right? This is the very first syntax of your Docker file, right, which image you are going to extend. And then the customization, what we are doing is that we are going to replace the default HTML index.file, okay, with the our custom index.html file. So what is this index.html file? This is a default file of a web server which is get processed when you hit the URL of the web server. That means that is your host name of your web server, and then colon the port of your web server. So by default web server listen for port 80 for non-secure and 443 for secure ports. Okay, so basically when your browser always look for the port 80 and 443. So when we hit the host name of our web server, we don't need to specify the port number there until and unless we are using some custom ports, right? So this is the first page that is served to you on the screen. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are doing certain kind of a customizations. We are extending our base image and then we are replacing the index file with our custom file. Okay, so similarly if you have a website which you would like to build on the Nginx, okay, so you can write all the commands inside your Docker file. So once you will create your extended image using the base image, then all the command that you are going to write in this particular Docker file, that will be get reflected in your new extended image, and using that you can start your container. Okay, so we will just create a simple HTML page with certain contents to display that it is the new file is copied there and it is running inside the new extended image container, right? And then we will build our new custom image with the help of build command. This is the command that you have seen in the previous session as well, right? And then we will start our container, right? And here we have given the name as well. So in the previous exercise we have not given the name, and the container was getting a default name every time we were running the docker run command to build the custom image. So now here we will specify the name as well. So once you will specify the double hyphen name as well, okay, it will assign a name which you have given on the command to your container. Right? So it is easy for you to remember when you run the command. If you know the name of the container, then you can run a different command using the name of container. Okay, otherwise always you have to run the ps-a command to get the name of container which is assigned by default. So this is the command with ps-a with docker that will show you the process of your container, right? This is the way how you can access the default page of your web server. So I have given the port 7001. The reason for that is we are doing the port forwarding 70011 port 80. So this we have discussed in the previous session as well, because your web server run on the port 80, but this is inside the container, right? So to get access of the services which is running inside the container from the outer world, we have to map a corresponding port to the service port which is running inside the container. So what I am doing here is I am mapping the port 7001 to port 80 of my web server, so that I can access the my website with the help of the 7001 port. Okay, you can use any port here for the redirection, right? And then we'll see if we command how you can stop the container, then how you can start the container, okay, how you can validate the process of your containers, okay, how you can delete a container, how you can delete the different images. Okay, this is the cleanup process for the exercise. Okay, so let us begin with our exercise. Okay, and let me see if my machine is up and running. Yes, it is up and running now. Okay, let me copy the private address, and I'm going to use the secure CRT, okay, for the login. And let me change the IP address here. Okay, why I'm changing is that whenever we start the EC2 machine on the AWS, okay, then it automatically assign the public IP to the new public IP every time you restart your machine, unless you configure it with the static machine. Okay, so let me access my machine, right? So I have saved my username and password, so automatically I am logged in here to my EC2 machines. And if I wanted to see my current images there, what all are the current images, so I can run the command sudo docker and then images, right? So it will display all of the custom images, those are there, right? Custom or base, whatever the images that you have built, it will display all the images there. So you can see that I have an Nginx image there. I am going to perform this exercise for this particular web server. So let me first delete this one. For that command, you have command docker and then your RMI. So RMI is to delete the image. If you are deleting a container, then you don't need to specify the I. Okay, you have to just specify RM. So let me now specify this is the container ID of my image, and then let me verify again now. So the Nginx image is now deleted. Right. So now the first thing that what you have to do is first you have to log into your account with the help of your username. So I'm pulling this from the Docker Hub. Okay, so I have to give the command sudo docker login -u and my username. So my username is dg talkfmw, right? Then I will give the command and it will ask the password. Okay, and now you can see that login is succeeded. That means I have logged into my Docker account. So what is this user? We have discussed in the previous session as well. You have to create a free account on the hub.docker.com. Once you will create your account there, you can use that particular account to log into your Docker account from the host, right? So now I am on the logged into the Docker Hub, and now I need to pull my pre-built image or the default image of the Nginx, right? So for that you have the command docker and then pull and the name of your base image. Okay, so this is the name which you can see on the Docker Hub as well. So if you will log in to your hub.docker.com, okay, there you can see the lot of different images are there. Okay, and then if you wanted to see the name of Nginx web server, okay, then you can search it here. Okay, here you can see this is the name of your image that you can pull from the Docker Hub. Okay, and you can see the command here as well, docker pull and then the name of your image. And why I am giving the sudo is because I don't have a proper access to my EC2 user, so I have to give the sudo as well. Okay, if you have access, proper access for your Linux account, then you don't need to specify the sudo, right? So now it will take some time based on the size of your image. Okay, once it is downloaded, then you will see the status, and then you can check the status of the images again. If it is downloaded, yes, this is the latest image that is we have downloaded, right? And so we have done this part. First we have logged into Docker Hub, and then we have run this command to pull the Docker image. right? And if you wanted to search your Docker repository for a particular image from your host as well, then for that you can run the docker search command. Okay, so once you will run the docker search and the name of particular image, okay, it will list all the images are there related to that particular package, right? So it has been created by the multiple users, and this is your official build image which we have downloaded. And apart from that, there are a lot of other images as well, okay, created by the different users, because we can pull the image as well as we can push the image to your registry as well, right? So that we can access it from anywhere, right? So now what we have done so far, we have searched the image, we have pulled the image, and we have validated the image with the help of docker images command, right? So now what we are going to do, we are going to create a docker file, okay, but before that one we have to create a index.html file, which is a custom file, okay, that we will create or copy inside the custom image that we are going to build. Okay, so this file you can create anywhere on your system. So let me create in the default directory, okay, and the name index.html, okay, and let me copy the content. So this file is there. So this is my previous file which we have shown the last exercise. So let me customize it. This is a customize, let me write it as, this is customize Nginx web server container, right? So this is my index file, right? This is the index file on my local system with my host where I am logged in, right? But now because you have to go into create a container and your web server will run inside the container, so during the creation of new custom image, we have to copy this file inside the container so that it can replace the default index.html file. Okay, now we will create a docker file which we'll be using to create our image. This is my previous file. Let me delete the content, okay, and let me copy the new content. Okay, so the new content will be from Nginx, right, because we are taking the base image as Nginx. Then we are copying the index.html file, okay, to where we are copying it to the default folder of your Nginx web server, which is user share Nginx and HTML folder. Inside that you will have to copy the index.html file, okay, so that it will be displayed on the screen once you will access your web server. So let me save this one. So now we have a docker file, right? And apart from that, we have our latest Nginx base image as well, right? And now what command we need to give is docker build -t nginx cust image and then dot. Let me explain you that again, what exactly we are doing with this command. See, now our custom image is created. So what we have done, we have given the command build. Okay, so build is the command to build the custom image. -t is for tag, and this is the name that I have given to my new image, right? Because this will be our extended image. And dot, that means it will look for the docker file in our current directory. Okay, so if you don't want to specify dot, or you don't want to give the same default name, then you can create this docker file filled with any name, but for that you have to specify the -f option and the file name if you want to override the default docker file name. Okay, but most of the time we go with the same name, default name, which is docker file. So now you can see that our new image is created, and if I verify it, then you will see now this is our Nginx custom image that we have created, right? So this was our base image which we have pulled from the Docker Hub, right? And utilizing this base image, we have created our own extended image. And what we have done there, we have replaced index.html file with our new index.html file. Similarly, when you have to deploy your website on the web server, okay, you have to create a docker file, and there you have to write all of your syntax, like if you want to copy all of your static files, code and everything from host to the docker container. So you can write all things in the docker file, and once you will create the base image, the all content will be there inside your container, and then you can start your instance of the docker container, right? So now our extended image is created, and we have verified that one, right? So now what we are going to do, now we are going to start the container. and this is the command to start the container. And let me explain you this command again as well. Okay, so now I have run this command, and you can see that you have given some output, and then now you are at the prompt. Okay, so docker run is the command to run the container. -d is in the detach mode. That means once you will run the command, you will come back to the prompt again. If you will not write the -d detach mode, then you will not come to the prompt. You will always be on the output prompt of this command, and if you will close that one, your container will also be get closed. So we always use the -d command for detach mode. Hyphen name will give the name to your container. If you will not give this one, then you will get a default name. -p port, this is for the port redirection to access the your web server from the outer world on the port 7001, and where 80 is the port where your web server is running inside your container. And this is the base image which we have used to build our custom image. So this is the complete syntax of running this one. Now if you want to verify the process of your container, so for that one you can run ps-a command. Okay, here you can see that I have a lot of different containers, but the container that is which is running now and we have created, this is the container, right? And this is the name of container which we have given in the command, right? And this is the port forwarding that we have given in the command, right, to access the web server on port 7001, right? And this was the name of our custom image, this one, right? So this shows that your container is up and running now, right? And if you wanted to check the logs of the container as well, okay, that means the services that has been started, then you can run this command as well. Okay, so this is the logs of your Nginx web server when it was started, and the syntax for that is you have to specify logs with the docker, then -f and the name of your container. So this is the name that we have given to the container, so we have given the -f the container name. Okay, and this will display the log. You can control C to come out from this one. So this is the command to check the logs. Okay, and this command we have seen ps-a to check the process of the containers. Okay, and now let us try to access our this particular web server. Okay, and for that we have to give the host name of our host, and let me copy my public DNS of my machine. So this is the public host of my machine, and let me give the host, and then what we have given the port is 7001. So this port we are using to expose our web server from the outer world, and this will direct the request to the container which is running on port 80. Okay, so now you can say this is a customized Nginx web server container. This is the content we have written in the index file, right, which was copied inside the new container when we built it from the base image. Okay, so this is how we build the images. And now if you wanted to stop and start the containers, for that you have a command stop and start, and let me show you that as well. Okay, so let us first check the running container. So for that we can run sudo docker ps-a. So here you can see that our Nginx container is running. Now you want to stop it, then you have to write sudo docker stop and then the name of your container. Okay, so now your container is stop. If you will see again with ps-a, then what is the status here? The status is exited, and earlier the status was up, right? And now if you want to run it again, right, then you have to write the same command, but instead of stop, what you have to write? Only start. And then you can check the status again, and you will see the container status is up and running. Right. And apart from that, what one of the new command that we have learned in the previous session as well, but if you have missed that session, let me show you as well. If you wanted to navigate inside your container, okay, so for that you have to run the command docker just exec, then -it and the name of your container and the shell, on which shell you want to log in. Okay, now you can say you are the hash prompt, right? So now what exactly this command does is that sudo docker exec-it, the name of your container and the shell, right? Now this command will take you inside the container. So now where we are inside the containers, right? If you wanted to see the different file which is there inside your container, so let me go back, and if we see what was the path of our default file for your HTML file which we have copied. This is the path, and then if you run this command, then you can see that you are inside the directory and you have an index.html file, and then you can see the content of this file. Okay, there are a lot of restrictions when you run the different command inside a container, right? So be careful for that one. Okay, and then this is the cat index.html, and this is our file, right? Where exactly it is? This is inside the container, and right now we are inside the container. Okay, and if you go back to your host, then you can just write the exit, and now we are at the host. So this is how we can build the custom images, and then how we stop the containers, how we navigate inside the containers. And thanks for watching this video.